Hey guys, so today we are going to go over the three different ways of doing dodge and burn. They all kind of produce different effects, I guess, although not quite. Um, I don't really know how to explain that, but basically there's three different ways. We've kind of already talked about one of them, and I kind of feel like they're all a little bit different. The one that we have talked about before is the dodge and burn curves layer, which I use in pretty much everything. I find it's the most effective. You get the best results, but there are other ways of doing it. So we'll be going over all three of them today. And the first one we're going to start with, because it's pretty much the easiest, is using a blank layer. So doing whatever you want with the naming. You can keep it all on one layer if you want. You don't have to, but if you're lazy like me, you can, but I like to keep the light and the dark separate. So we have our first blank layer, which is dodge, and the only thing we're going to do is change it to soft light for both of them. Now, using a white brush for the dodge, you can keep your flow pretty low, opacity at 100, a fairly soft brush, and then all you're going to do is paint in where you want the light. Again, keeping your flow fairly low. I find that this doesn't work the same way as curves does, just because you might notice it's like a little bit of a white cast. Some people like to bring that down a little bit, or there's another technique that I'll show you that they use as well. This actually doesn't do too bad of a job in some aspects. I wouldn't use this for everything or everywhere. But if you're working in the highlights, it's actually not too bad because most of the time, depending on what you're working on, it can be a little bit effective. You can also bring the flow down a lot so that it's not aggressive in some ways. And then you'll basically just be doing the same thing, but with a black brush for the burn. And you can see I'm just working on her forehead here just to show you what it does. Similar effect, and then you basically just have them on like a blank layer, and you can see before and after. Same sort of thing. That is basically your soft light dodge and burn. That one's fairly new. Fairly new to me, I should say. I haven't learned about that one until recently, and I think in some ways it can be effective. However, my favorite way, which is the next way, is the curves adjustment layers. So you basically just want to create two curves adjustment layers, one with a very low point, which we will call burn, because it's going to darken the photo, and another adjustment layer that goes up, and that is going to be inverted as well, and that's your dodge. I spelled that totally wrong, but I do not care. And same thing, you're going to want to make sure you're on the layer mask and you're just working with the colors. I'm doing a really shitty job just to show you the effect. I just wanted to do a quick video today of the three different ways that you can do it so you can try each one and see what you like best. And this is the way that I always do it, and I love how they look because I find the effect is a little bit more subtle and it's not, doesn't cast a very white shadow as the other one does anyway, not the soft light one. And then the last way that people do it is a new layer, going to edit and fill with 50% gray, your mode to overlay and opacity at 100, and then changing the blend mode of this to soft light. And from here, you can do the same thing basically. It just provides you with a little bit of a buffer. So anything that is if you're painting with a white brush, anything that's above 50% gray, I don't even know how it works. Basically, if it's above 50% gray, it'll lighten. Similar thing though, I feel like it leaves a little bit of a cast. I'll show you another way that people use this same technique, but this is one way using a white brush, or same thing, you can use a black brush and just paint in as well. And anything that is, I want to say 50% below, or maybe it's the opposite is true for both of them. You'll see it changes as well. However, I'm going to set that up one more time just to show you. Where are we? Fill with 50% gray and soft light. You can use overlay as well. They don't change that much. And then you can also use the dodge or the burn tools that come in Photoshop. This is kind of nice because I'd find it doesn't leave as much of a white cast. You might notice some changes in the tones of the skin, but overall, it kind of gets rid of that problem that people have with the white cast. But you can see it does a fairly decent job. It's a really shitty job. I just wanted to do a quick one. But you can see those kind of 3 ways of doing it and using those techniques. The dodge and burn tools do not work on a blank layer. You have to have something in it, which is why the 50% gray layer is great for using those tools. I don't find them overly effective in completely changing things, but it's a really great way of drawing out those highlights. Like if you really want to enhance the highlight on someone's cheeks or something like that, it's a great tool for using that. But those are basically the 3 techniques for using dodge and burn. Everybody does it differently, but I think the most effective way is the curves adjustment layers. So hopefully you get a chance to try out one of those techniques, and let me know what you guys think below. If you've tried one of them, if anyone has tips for getting rid of that white cast, that would be sick. Let me know, because I'm very curious. I love learning new ways of doing things, and I'm very curious to see if there's maybe a different way of doing dodge and burn that doesn't leave a white cast. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next one. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later.